Well, good day, my friends. It's your old pal Jordan the Lion coming to you from the beautiful town of Bartow, Florida. I've actually been here one time before for some filming locations, but my friend Al's gonna take me around town and show me this beautiful city. So, Days with Jordan the Lion and you all, it begins right now. This wonderful movie that we're talking about was My Girl. If you were a child of the 90s, you probably saw My Girl, starring Dan Aykroyd, Jamie Lee Curtis, Anna Klumsky, Macaulay Culkin. The house is here. It's been around forever, and now it has a new life. I read recently that it's no longer a private home. I'm going to tell you, hopefully we'll get over there and I'll tell you what it is now. But I'm excited to see this town. I've got to see a little bit of it when I was doing that vlogging. But they say my heart belongs to Bartow, so this better be a nice little town. Check out the cool mural over here. It's bad they got some cars parked here, but I love the mural. I love this town, like the walking around and everything, you definitely have a small town feel to it. Straight out of a movie. Wow, take a look at this place. I love all the decorations and everything. Casablanca, and it's on both sides. Batman.
Hi there. Hello. That for you, Jordan.
Look at all the swords up on the wall. Valentino. America's favorite Cuban. So I'm always a sucker for a Cuban sandwich. That's what I'm gonna get.
Paintings over there. Lone Star paints here in Bartow, and back when he used to drive his car.
He's a local here?
Yes, and had guns mounted on the side of his quarter panels and a set of horns on the front.
Nice.
Yeah.
This sounds like nudie. Those are good paintings too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you can see he signed it Lone Star down there. There is our Cuban sandwich. I also ordered a double crab. Oh, that looks good. That looks really good. Never even had a Cuban sandwich till I started traveling to Florida. It's not something you find pretty much anywhere else other than, you know, Cuban heavily influenced communities. But man, that is a good sandwich. One of the best you can ever have. First bite, phenomenal. All right, Al, what did you get?
I got picadillo, yellow rice, and black beans.
That's your go-to, isn't it? You were telling me?
Yeah.
Looks
Delicious.
good. You said you eat here a couple times a week?
Yes.
This definitely is very good. I mean, I've had some bad Cuban sandwiches, so I would tell you if it wasn't good. That is a good Cuban sandwich. Fantastic. I haven't got my double crab yet, but I'm already full. Man, I'm gonna have to shovel it in though. Oh, here it comes. Yours looks like it's pretty good, Al, huh?
Oh yeah.
There we go. Yeah. All right. So I always like to break it open a little bit and put I normally don't do hot sauce on anything, but with the devil crab, it's kind of like, first time I had it, they're like, no, even if you don't like hot sauce, put it on there. And they were right. So we'll do a little bit of a little dab will do ya. Look at the steam flowing off that thing. Right out of the fryer. First bite, excellent. That's actually probably the best one I've ever had. Wow, that's really good. Food was excellent. We're gonna go out and see some more of Bartow. Look at what's on the window as we leave. I love it. Nice colorful town. Too crazy nuts. Look at all that. Very colorful. Sweet Magnolia's Cafe, which is closed today. Looks like an old painting of the town. A tree with the Spanish moss on it. That immediately makes me think of My Girl, and this is the neighborhood of the My Girl house. Like I said, it's a great movie if you grew up in the 90s, because, I mean, as a kid, because it was a movie that dealt with young death, where a girl who's about 9 or 10 years old loses her best friend and just kind of follows their life. Now this is the house. It used to be yellow in the movie. This was Veda Sultanfuss's house. Her dad, Harry, played by Dan Aykroyd, was the funeral director here in town. So we see the house a lot in the movie. Movie basically features everything about the house, including that front step right there. You see that when Jamie Lee Curtis shows up to become the makeup lady for the funeral home. You can see that. And Veda and her friends are always going up the front walk. But at the time it was I think it was a private home, or it was a bed and breakfast after the movie. And then it became a private home again when I came out here to visit it. And you can actually match up all those cracks in the front walk. You can match them all up in the movie. But last time I was out here, it was a private home, and now it's been sold and it has a new purpose, because it is now a home for women who are single mothers who are expecting. So they're repainting the house. It looks like they're in the process of it now. They use the interiors, the exteriors. If you go around this side of the house to the back, you can see where they have the picnic. I think it's the 4th of July picnic or something like that. They have a picnic outside with Grandma and Veda and her dad and the uncle. And that's when all the commotion breaks out with Jamie Lee Curtis and her ex. But that would have all happened back here, where this is all at. That's where they originally had that. The barbecue and everything was over there.
Thanks for the grub. Yay, God.
I'll second that.
Beautiful house. It is definitely a beautiful house, and nice to see that it has a new purpose. Now, I was confused because I love this movie, and I was confused because I saw in the credits that Carrie Fisher was named in the credits, but she's not in the movie, for additional help, was basically what it was. So I asked her brother, Todd Fisher, since I'm friends with him, I said, you know, what was that all about? And he said, well, actually, Carrie was a very sought-after script doctor. And so he said, if someone had a script, an actor had lines that they didn't particularly like, they would request Carrie to come in and rewrite the dialogue. And so he said, who was in that movie? And I said, Dan Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis. He said, there you go, right there. He said, Jamie Lee. He said, Jamie Lee always hired Carrie to be a script doctor and to write the dialogue for her in all the movies that she was in. So that's why. But I love this movie. Such a great coming of age movie. Captures this young girl in the 60s, and actually it would have been like the early 70s, because we see the Nixon Agnew signs and everything, but we see all this stuff in the movie. The driveway is used in the movie. The whole house, the interiors of the house. I don't believe this house had the basement where they did all the embalming and everything, but great to see. This is a real staple for Bartow filming locations. I would have loved to have gotten in there and just kind of looked at the ground floor before they sold it if I could have, just to see, because they end up having Thomas J., played by Macaulay Culkin. They have his funeral inside here. It would have been right in that room in there. So I'm just kind of curious as to how it would have been laid out and everything. FYI, if you come out here to check out the filming locations, they're probably going to come out and talk to you like they just did to me. They wanted to know what I was doing and making sure I wasn't getting any residents or anybody on film or anything. So not that warm to the movie filming locations being in this house. They definitely are using it for what they're using it for, and I get the impression that they want you to take your photo and vamoose. This is the city of oaks and azaleas. Now we're over at the historic L.B. Brown house, and they invite you to take an external walking tour of the home. He has an interesting history here. This was built in 1892 during the period when Barstow's initial development. It is a good example of a frame vernacular construction typical of that period. The house is decorated with intricate millwork and gingerbread. The house was 9 rooms. The Brown's house was built by Lawrence Bernard Brown, who was born into slavery outside of Archer. He moved to DeLand around 1882, where he built a number of houses. Lawrence moved to Bartow during the 1880s and built a large number of dwellings, one of which was the L.B. Brown house. Lawrence and Annie Bell Brown raised 7 children here. Lawrence and his wife are buried in the Evergreen Cemetery in Bartow. The house is now owned by the neighborhood and was completely restored in 2001. So yeah, his big claim to fame was that he was born a slave and ended up being a businessman here in town. This was his family's home that he raised all of his kids and everything. So they have, as you walk around it, all kinds of little historic placards. It's just kind of cool to check out some of the stained glass up there. And then they have historical information right here. From slavery to successful businessman, according to the 1912 Jacksonville newspaper, Lawrence Bernard Brown was the wealthiest person and the largest property owner among the gentlemen of color. Mr. Brown was also a generous philanthropist and highly respected community leader. The story of his rise to such prominence is compelling, especially considering his enslaved birth and lack of formal education. L.B. Brown was a good example of a self-made man. That is great to see. See them celebrating his history, keeping the house nice and beautiful. I do believe that they do have tours that you can take of the inside of the house, but for now, here's a visual of all the bedrooms. You can see it was stabilized by pine logs down here. Total of 18. And over here, show us what the dining room that would have been, that's right in front of us, and the kitchen, what they look like. So there's your dining room and the kitchen. Now it says the spot where this sign has been placed marks the location of Mr. Brown's workshop. He sold Bibles, repaired umbrellas, silvered mirrors, made loans, notarized documents, collected rent payments, offered counseling, and made donations to those in need. The concrete pad and ramp were connected to the back door of his shop. He was a devoted Christian and a devoted family man. So they're talking about this ramp. Says it began to deteriorate, the house did, after his death in 1941 and was abandoned in 1989. Home was scheduled to be demolished until a group of citizens organized to ensure its preservation. That's wonderful. What a story. Some nice houses in this town. I like them. Now we're out at the Wonder House, which is a privately owned home. But occasionally you can tour, and I'm hoping maybe I can contact them and tour it and see all the wonderment inside. But just from here you can see it's a pretty special, interesting place. We'll see if we can walk around it and get some better views. See, it is private property, so you don't want to trespass or do anything like that, especially because they are nice enough to open it for tours occasionally. So, but I would love to see what we can see of it through here. Here's what would have been like the direct front access, because there's a gate right there. But here you can get a good view of the front of the house. We'll zoom it in. A nice little lake right across the street. Let's see what we can see from here. Beautiful property though, isn't it? You can see the stone bridges. She's got two of those. And the walkway up there. And there's another angle. Beautiful property. I like the gates outside because they kind of have that feel of like the Munsters house to me. Well, my friends, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed our tour of Bartow, Florida today. Have a great night and goodbye.